What's the vibe like knowing that the team is being invested upon?
Right away, you get the sense of like, okay, the front office is right there with us. They know we have a chance, and they're giving us everything that they can to continue to help us.
Do you think there's almost an advantage to a team that has faced those adversities already in the season?
You have to show the ability to get back up, and continue to fight. We've done that. They're really good players. And, we got a couple of guys that are scuffling right now, and they'll get through it. And then as a team, like I said, our mindset is do whatever we need to do to win today's game.
Tyrone Taylor. How great is it to have somebody like that?
We saw it, I guess, I'm going to go back to spring training when, we put him in center, we put him in left, we put him in right. The at-bats, the impact, the way he runs the bases. This guy's a ball player. Knowing that there's going to be days when he's not in the lineup, he's always going to be ready. To have a guy like that is huge.
Hey, thanks for meeting us at the Apple. I'm Vito Calisi. That's Jonathan Barron. We're joined by Mets manager Carlos Mendoza. And Carlos, just last week has been wild for you and the team. Have you ever had to travel like that before?
Yeah, I think so. It's part of what we do, man. Part of the big league life. Every team's going to go through at some point, sometimes twice a year. And like I said, that's, you're going to be facing these type of travels at times. And, it could be hard. But at the end of the day, like I said, there's no excuses. And it's part of the schedule. So.
Mm-hmm. So 4 cities, 3 time zones, I believe it was. How nice is it to be back home in Queens?
Oh, it's great. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, just being back here as soon as we got here, a couple mornings ago, I guess. We got in pretty late after that Seattle trip. It feels good, man. Just walking in the building, and then just the feeling that you're going to be playing in front of your fans and just be home again is nice. It feels like we haven't been here, in a month.
How excited are you to see the OMG sign, see the fans showing up, doing the lights, getting all that energy back to the team?
Pretty exciting, when you're going through some of these stadiums and they're trying to put something like, what people in different stadiums are doing with the lights or this like that. So it makes you miss it even more. So I'm excited. Hopefully, the other team has to make a lot of pitching changes. I mean, we're scoring a lot of runs, and, we could see the light show here pretty often.
How about all the support you guys get on the road? Just watching on TV, you could see a lot of Mets fans. We saw this back in D.C. in early July. How cool is it to know that you guys have such a big backing, no matter where you go in the country with you?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, because you feel that support everywhere you go. I mean, I think we were in Seattle, and even though we weren't playing as well, you could feel it, right on top of our dugout, the fans, and they were supporting us. They were into every pitch. And it means a lot to us that everywhere the team goes, there's going to be support. There's going to be people right there with you. And we feel it, and that's important for us.
Now, since we've last spoken to you, the team's made some additions to the team because of the deadline. What's it like for a manager just having to, bring everybody together, introduce these new guys to a clubhouse, and keep that vibe that you've had all year with these new additions?
Yeah, I think it starts from day one, spring training, when you're sending out foundations and that throughout the year there's going to be a lot of different faces walking through those doors. And it's up to not only the manager, but the players, the coaches, to make everyone feel welcome. This is a place where people are really looking forward to come to work. And, you got to give them credit. The players itself, we feel this is a family. We see it that way. We feel it. We have each other's back. And new faces walk through those doors, and they fit right in because of the quality of the people that we got there. And we see it. They feel it. And talking to these new players, right away, that's the first thing they said, man, you guys got a really good clubhouse here, really good vibes, really good people. It's like, yeah, but again, I'm going to go back to day one spring training when, we're talking about the things that we wanted to do here, and that was one of the things, so I got to give them credit for it.
And when you guys make those additions, the guys that are already in the clubhouse, of course, I'm sure they feel like, hey, the front office believes in us, we can win. What's the vibe like knowing that the team is being invested upon? And, hey, we've got 2 months here, we have a chance to make the playoffs. We're going to give you guys that chance. Let's go get it.
Yeah, and I'm going to go back to when we started adding, a guy like Luis Torrens, way before the deadline. Okay, what are some of the areas we need to improve? And, impact right away. Then somebody from the minor leagues like Jose Iglesias, and then a Mayton walks through the doors, and so right away you get the sense of like, okay, the front office is right there with us. They know we have a chance, and then you just giving us everything that they can to continue to help us. And then obviously the trade deadline gets here, and we added a Winker, we added a Brasovan, Stanek. That's a good feeling for the team, and it's important that the front office is providing everything that they feel like we need down here.
So you guys have the roster together. You know what you have to work with here. Tough weekend to end the trip in Seattle, but now you're back home, as we've established. What makes this team so resilient and has the ability to bounce back whenever they face adversity?
Yeah, the quality of the people that we got there. They're good players, and we've been through a lot, throughout the year. It's not the first time we're facing adversity, and they're relentless, they're resilient, they're gonna fight, they're not gonna shy away from it, and they know where we at, not only on the schedule but standings and all that. But at the end of the day, the mindset is we have to take care of business today. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday. It doesn't matter what's ahead of us. Today is what's the most important, and that's how we treat it. Yeah, we're coming off a tough series in Seattle when it wasn't easy for us, but put that behind, and we've shown it before. And we're getting ready to play Oakland here.
So we talked about this on the podcast the other day. Do you think there's almost an advantage to a team that has faced those adversities already in the season, that like the first time you get punched in the face, it's not new to you? Like, you've dealt with it, and it's something that you can come back from.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna say whether it's an advantage or not. It's just you have to show the ability to get back up, and continue to fight. And we've done that a couple of times, and that's what we feel pretty confident that that they're gonna get through it. They're really good players, and we got a couple of guys that are scuffling right now, and they'll get through it. And then as a team, like I said, our mindset is do whatever we need to do to win today's game.
And it's crazy. I mean, it's already mid-August, and I feel like there's just been so many things happening throughout the season. It's such a long season, and things can change so quickly. You look at what happened with the Braves and Rockies, or there's so many crazy games throughout baseball. One weekend you're down, a week later you're back up. From your perspective in the manager's office, do you have to remind yourself, hey, take a step back? This is a 162-game marathon, and things can change like that in this sport?
Yeah, I think it's just the messaging to the group. You're not as bad as you think you are when you're not playing well, but also you're not as good as you are when things are going great. So you have to stay consistent. You have to stay steady. You have to stay in the moment. Stick to your process, stick to your preparation, and just go out there, compete, and have fun, and do whatever it takes to win today's game. Don't worry what happened yesterday or tomorrow. And that's pretty much the messaging here. It is 162. You're going to go through all ups and downs, and you just have to stay consistent.
Yeah, and I feel like with the extra wild card spot now, I know it's year 2, but of course it just opens it up to more teams. And even if you take a punch in the face, you can get yourself right back on track. So that's a great answer. I want to talk about a couple individuals who have really been making a difference. I want to talk about David Peterson, who has been so steady for you guys since returning from the hip injury. What have you seen from the big left-hander?
Yeah, I think he's gotten better every time he takes a baseball. His ability to make adjustments, the willingness to get better, get feedback from Hef and our pitching department. And for him, you got to give him credit, because not only he's working in between starts whenever he's throwing a bullpen, but he's actually going out there and applying it. It was cool to see him pitch in Colorado for the first time in front of his family, and for him to get that the victory, it was pretty special. So yeah, you got to give them credit, because he's such a professional. He cares, he prepares, and his ability to make adjustments, whether it's a new pitch, a new grip, pitch usage, and he's done that. So he's been huge for us.
Another guy that you have that's a weapon in the arsenal is Tyrone Taylor. Just how great is it to have somebody like that in your lineup?
Yeah, and we saw it. I guess I'm gonna go back to spring training when we put him in center, we put him in left, we put him in right, and then the at bats, the impact, the way he runs the bases. This guy's a ball player, and knowing that there's gonna be days when he's not in the lineup, he's always going to be ready. And to have a guy like that as part of your 26 roster, 26 men, is huge, because he's ready. He's whenever you need him, he's gonna pose, And man, his defense is unbelievable. Anywhere you put him. So made a couple of plays in Colorado that I thought impacted the game in a good way. And he continues to show up and help the team.
In DC, he had that amazing catch that.
I feel like every series,
game.
every game, there's
making
always,
impacts.
He's defensively getting a big hit. He did it in St. Louis with the bases loaded, running the bases. And again, the guy is such a professional, and he's always ready to go.
Now, you mentioned the hit in St. Louis. Perfect segue to my next question. And this is a philosophical thing. Vito and I talk about this. We both have our opinions, but we'd love to hear you shed some information, your thoughts on it. And it's the art of hitting with runners in scoring position. Now, my opinion is good hitters are good hitters. Hitting with wrist is an extension of hitting in a vacuum with no pressure, just, pitcher batter. What's your take on it? Is it a skill? Is it something that certain guys excel at more than others? Or is it just if you're a good hitter over time, you'll get it done with wrist?
I think it's a little bit of everything,
okay.
But obviously the skills here is the ability to slow the game down, knowing that what's the situation, what the pitcher's trying to do to you, and don't let the game get too fast on you. That's when you see guys chasing, and but having the ability to take a step back, take a deep breath, slow everything down, stay with your plan, use the whole field, whatever you want to call it. But I think it starts with the individual having the ability to slow the game down. That's the skill for me. Obviously knowing the situation and having the ability to use a whole field. Don't try to get too big. Don't swing a pitcher's pitches. So it's a little bit of everything here.
So it's an approach more so than a skill set necessarily.
I will say it's an approach. It's a skill set.
Okay.
Because you got to have pretty much, and that's why it's not easy.
No, I mean,
how many
look,
guys nowadays you see that have the ability to drive in 100 runs? That's not that many, but we got a lot of them here. We got good hitters. And the good thing is we're creating situations, and then more times than not, those guys are going to come true.
Now, do you have a message to Mets fans for not only just this homestand to come out, but like what the rest of this season, what you want to see from them, what they should expect to see from the team?
Continue to support us. Continue to show up here at Citi Field. Give us that good vibe. Believe. That's the messaging here. That there's a special group. There's something special going on here, and we're gonna need them because we feel it when they're right behind us. And we're here at the beginning of a homestand, but this stretch coming up the next 6-7 weeks, we're gonna need them because we feel it. And just know that we are believing, and we need you to believe.
And we're excited. How excited are you? I mean, this is why we do this, right? Down the stretch, August, September, pennant chase. How pumped are you to be a huge part of what we're about to encounter?
Pretty pumped. This is what you signed up for. You get into this, second week of August, and then you get into late in the year, and you're playing for something. Every game means something. That's what you signed up for, And I'm glad that we put ourselves in this position. And our expectation is that we're going to be playing meaningful games for a long time here.
Well, Carlos, thanks so much for joining us. You can follow this podcast on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm on Twitter at Vito F. Calisi, John at JMB9191. You can follow us on the Mets YouTube. Carlos, thanks so much. And, we'll see you soon.
Let's keep it going.
Let's go Mets.